Sasarjaya vidyam Panchaparvanam agritaha Tāmisram andha-tāmisram Sasarjaya vidyam Panchaparvanam agritaha Tāmisram andha-tāmisram Tamo moho mahā-moha Sasarjaya vidyam Panchaparvanam agritaha Tāmisram andha-tāmisram Tamo moho mahā-moha. Word meaning. Sasarja, created. Chayaya, with the shadow. Avidyam, ignorance. Panchaparvanam, 5 varieties. Agrataha, first of all. Tāmisram, Tāmisra. Andha-tāmisram, andha-tāmisra. Tamaha, tamas. Moha, moha. Mahā-tamaha, mahā-tamas or mahā-moha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. From his shadow, the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls, they are 5 in number and are called Tāmisra, andha-tāmisra, tamas, moha and mahā-moha. Purport. The conditioned souls are living entities who come to the material world to enjoy sense gratification are covered in the beginning by 5 different conditions. The first condition is a covering of Tāmisra or anger. Constitutionally, each and every living entity has minute independence. It is misuse of that minute independence for the conditioned soul to think that he can also enjoy like the Supreme Lord, or to think, why shall I not be a free enjoyer like the Supreme Lord? This forgetfulness of his constitutional position is due to anger or envy. The living entity, being eternally a part and parcel servitor of the Supreme Lord, can never by constitution be an equal enjoyer with the Lord. When he forgets this, however, he tries to be one with him. This condition is called Tāmisra. Even in the field of spiritual realization, this Tāmisra mentality of the living entity is hard to overcome. In trying to get out of the entanglement of material life, there are many who want to be one with the Supreme. Even in their transcendental activities, this lower grade mentality of Tāmisra continues. Andha-tāmisra involves considering death to be the ultimate end. The atheists generally think that body is the self and that everything is therefore ended with the end of the body. Thus they want to enjoy material life as far as possible during the existence of the body. Their theory is, as long as you live, you should live prosperously. Never mind whether you commit all kinds of so-called sins. You must eat sumptuously, beg, borrow and steal. And if you think that by stealing and borrowing you are being entangled in sinful activity for which you will have to pay, then just forget that misconception, because after death everything is finished. Conception of life is killing humans. The atheistic conception of life is killing human civilization, for it is without knowledge of the constitution of eternal life. This andha-tāmisra ignorance is due to tamas. The condition of not knowing anything about the spirit soul is called tamas. This material world is also generally called tamas because 99% of its living entities are ignorant of their identity as soul. Almost everyone is thinking that he is this body. He has no information of the spirit soul. Guided by this misconception, one always thinks this is my body and anything in relation with this body is mine. For such misguided living entities, sex life is the background of material existence. Actually, the conditioned souls in ignorance in this material world are simply guided by sex life, and as soon as they get the opportunity for sex life, they become attached to the so-called home, motherland, children, wealth, and opulence. As these attachments increase, so moha, or the illusion of the bodily conception of life, also increases. Thus, the idea that I am this body and everything belonging to this body is mine also increases. And as the whole world is put into moha, sectarian societies, families, and nationalities are created, and they fight with one another. Mahā-moha means to be mad after material enjoyment. Especially in this age of Kali, everyone is overwhelmed by the madness to accumulate paraphernalia for sense enjoyment, for material enjoyment. These definitions are very nicely given in Vishnu Purana, wherein it is stated, Tamo vivoko mohasyat anta-karana vibramaha mahā-mohastu vigneyo gramya bhoga sukaikshana maranam hi andha-tāmisram tāmisram krodha uchyate avidya pancha parvaisha pradurbhuta mahatmanaha. Thus sends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Recently someone shared one incident, seems to be a real incident. So in one of the famous pilgrimage place in India, so outside the temple, that pilgrimage place, one sadhu used to sit. I think he was there for about 6 to 8 months. Every day he would sit in one common place. He would just sit, and whoever pilgrims, when after the darshan, when they come, they will give some prasadam, some fruits, or some money. So since he was staying for quite a long period, 6 to 8 months is a long period, so he made acquaintances with nearby people. People started recognizing him, and like he was behaving exactly like a sadhu. No shouting, no anger, or not demanding anything from people. Whatever they give, respectfully he will receive, and he will buy something in that money, or if they give food, he will have. Then time passed by, because he was so good to others. There was one shopkeeper who used to sell puja materials, puja samagris outside the temple. So he saw that sadhu, and for a couple of months he is there, and he is very respectful. He is genuine sadhu, looks like. So he called him and asked him, you looks like a very young actually. Why don't you work with me in my shop? I need a kind of an assistant, kind of a boy. I'll pay for you. And anyway, already you are staying in whenever temple is closed, you stay in the courtyard of the temple, you meditate or whatever you do. You can continue that when the shop is closed. So then he started working with that person. That also went on for another few months. So then, since it's a very popular pilgrimage place, some intelligence bureaus of the government also closely monitor the situation there. One fine day, they were flying a drone near the temple just to check, is there any, just to make sure that there are no abnormal activities going on. So they found that an unusual frequency transmission happening in the premises of the temple. It's an unusual. Generally, intelligence department, they are equipped to identify these kind of things. So then intelligence becomes awakened, they become alerted. They started flying the drone every day. And they started noting down the pattern, what they are actually getting to know. They found that around 8 p.m. in the night, especially after the temple is closed. Same time, from the same place, there is one frequency signal transmission is happening. Same time, same place. Then they found that this is the shop where that sadhu was there, who was working as an assistant. From that shop, that transmission, some signals was, radiation was emitting, signal was emitting. Then intelligence became alerted. They sent one of their officer, disguised, a female officer disguised as a sadhvi. She also started roaming around the campus. And she used to come and purchase puja samagris every day from the same shop. She would purchase the puja samagris, go to the temple, have darshan, offer her prayers, come back and sit in the temple courtyard throughout the day. This went on for a couple of months. So that officer's duty was to why that particular signal transmission is happening from that shop at a particular time. So by then they found that actually that signal is going to some our neighbor country, Bangladesh. And from there is a con call which connects to Lahore. So they started digging out about that person who was working there. They found that, even though they did not disclose it, but they found that he was a terrorist from a famous terrorist group, disguised in the form of a sadhu, staying in that pilgrimage place and doing all these things. And daytime, when the temple is closed, when that sadhvi used to stay in the courtyard of the temple, she observed what that person is doing, what is his activities. So shop is also closed. When the temple is closed, shop is also closed. He would roam around in a place where cooking is done for the pilgrims and cooking, and wherever prasadam is fed. These are the two common areas where he used to roam around whenever shop is closed. Then one fine day, he tells the shop owner that, my mother is not well. I have to go and attend to her. She's seriously sick. So the shopkeeper gives some money and tells that, okay, whenever you come back from your salary, I'll deduct this. So you can go and meet. He tells Amritsar. He goes to Amritsar. He tells, my mother is Amritsar. So Amritsar is a bordering country, right? He goes and stays near one village where he knew no one from that village. This is also a story that is, he has made up, that his mother is sick. He goes there, and then this female officer who is in the form of sadhvi, she also follows him to that village. Then she starts, her only duty, she is also in disguise. Her only duty was to observe his activities and pattern of activities. So she observes that in the evening, sometimes he go near the border. There is a drone flying from the other side of the border, which comes to Indian territory, drops something and goes back. So he takes that whatever material which is dropped, he hides it in his some rudraksh. Rudraksh are also hollow, not actually actual rudraksh. So he hides that material in his rudraksh and he comes back. By then it was confirmed that he is doing some anti-national activity. So they catch him, they arrest him, then he confesses to that crime. His motto was to some kind of a poison. If you use just 1 gram, it can kill hundreds of people. So his idea was to bring that, put it in that prasadam for the pilgrims where prasadam is cooked, kill mass number of people. So that can become a big news in the country. So then international medias can make it a big news that, India, even pilgrims are not safe. Kind of these days they call it as a toolkit, anti-national propaganda. So why I'm sharing is that, just imagine, to create some ruckus in one country, a person who is apparently from another country is coming to this country, staying for years together. We are talking about only months. There are instances where they have stayed for years together, meticulously planning, sometimes execute, sometimes they may fail. Why are they actually doing? Without, that's what their intention, that's what they have been taught for. Similarly, when we think about like how Prabhupada here in this verse and purport, Prabhupada is mentioning the living entity is entrapped in this world. Why we are getting entrapped to this world? Behind our trap, there is a meticulous work which Maya is doing. It's not that just like when someone is born and is getting entrapped, is getting trapped in this bodily concept. No, it's not happening. Maya is very, very, very meticulously working. Each and every minute things. When we say that, the family, say father, mother, son, daughter, or wife, their children. So sometimes people say, no, whenever a baby is born, oh, ये बच्चे का जो नाक है दादी का जैसे है, कान है बिल्कुल दादाजी का जैसे हैं, इसका चलन जो है बिल्कुल उनकी बुआ का जैसे चलता है. Sometimes it is true also. We can identify, अच्छा, he is son of so and so by just seeing his face. Why is that? When we say that, this is because of our karma, we have come here for a temporary period of time. If that is the case, then why my face is resembling with my father or grandfather or someone in my family? It is because of that meticulous work Maya does. Scientists may say DNA is so many chromosomes are matching, any kind of explanation they may give. But it is because of the Maya's meticulous work to trap us, to think that, oh, he is my grandfather, he is my father, that's why I'm looking like him. To create that bodily concept of life, and then extended bodily concept, that is my family, nation. So Maya works meticulously. The Lord, just imagine, so many details, so many intricacies are involved in this creation of this material world. Why Lord has to take so much trouble? Of course, the Lord doesn't take any trouble as such. But why Lord has to deploy his energies to do this? So that the living entities, those who have turned away their faces from him, vimukha chetasaha. So the Lord wants a reformation center for them. So this material body is a reformation center, and his energies work so meticulously to make us understand first that we are this body, then extended bodily concept of life, and trying to enjoy. Different stages are there, and after sufficiently defeated by all our efforts to enjoy and to be peaceful in this world, then someone may think, why I am not happy? So then he can go back to Godhead. Even when the government makes a jail, they think so much. This much should be the height of the wall, above that there should be barbed wire fencing, and there should not be any objects or any items which easily they can climb. They make sure all these things so that the prisoners stay in the prison. And not only this, they also plan so many welfare activities as well. What are those? Sometimes they conduct some spiritual discourses. If some prisoner is interested in taking up any studies, they facilitate his study also. They can get a degree. If you are staying in a prison, you can study, you can get a degree. After coming out, you can take up jobs also. So they do welfare activity as well as they make sure that they don't escape from this jail very easily. Similar act is what Maya is doing. She does some welfare activity also, but she also makes sure that we are not getting out of the jail very easily. So that's why, as it is said here, like this is chapter, conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. In the previous chapter, where Jaya Vijaya, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and Lord Varahadeva, Narsimhadev pastime was explained. After that, in the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, so there again that subject matter of creation has been rediscussed again. So in that way, Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami says, Bhagavatam has 10 different subject matters. Atra Sarga Visargascha, Sthanam, like that, Utaya, Manmantara, Ishanu, Katha, like the 10 different subject matters are explained. The first one is Sarga, that is primary creation. And then secondary creation, Visarga. So Brahma does what? Secondary creation, Visarga. So that Sarga is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Visarga is done by Brahma. So that's what here, again the subject matter has come. In that way, even though the first subject is Sarga and second is Visarga, it's not that, first canto contains Sarga and second canto contains Visarga. No, the subject matter is explained in many other cantos as well. Even if you, I don't know whether in this chapter it is there, in the third canto starting only, just same subject matter was discussed between Maitreya and Vidura, what we are discussing today. So in the starting of this third canto, so where Maitreya says, "O Vidura, so far I have explained to you the glories of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his feature as Kala. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, the reservoir of all knowledge." The Sarga aspect, after explaining the Sarga aspect, now Maitreya started explaining Visarga, secondary creation, which was done by Brahma. So in that, it's the starting of the 12th chapter. So in the very second verse, first verse says about that, and second verse is Sasar Chagre andha-tāmisram atha-tāmisram adikrit mahā-moham cha moham cha tamas chagnara vrittayaha. So what we are discussing, Brahma created 5 different coverings of ignorance. Same thing, same principles in the 12th chapter of the third canto is also explained. Same between Maitreya and Vidura. So like that, sometimes the subject matters are repeated, seeing the either importance or as per the conversation convenience. So this 5, Brahma first created nascent engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and illusory bodily conception or forgetfulness of one's real identity. It's mentioned as in different Sanskrit terms as Tamishra, andha-tāmisra, tamas, moha, and mahā-moha. In the previous verse, today we are discussing 18th verse. 17th verse says about when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean, entered the heart of Brahma. Brahma brought his intelligence to bear, and with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before. So the Lord enters Lord Brahma's heart, and his intelligence is awakened. So with that awakened intelligence, Brahma starts creating. So then immediately after this intelligence is awakened, what is he creating? Brahma is creating this coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. Why covering? Why first? Brahma could have created some other principles as well. But what is the basic principle of this material world? To bind the conditioned souls, or we can say reformations of the conditioned souls. So for the reformation, it is very important that living entities should come in, should fall into the trap of Maya, then reformation can happen. Unless you commit a sin, you will not go to jail. Then what is the question of reformation? So the living entity is, whenever, the moment he thinks of going away from Krishna, he is put into that ignorance. So that ignorance has 5 different levels. The first one is Tamishra. Tamishra means anger, Krodha. So here Tamishra Prabhupada can't. The first condition is a covering of Tamishra or anger. Constitutionally, each and every living entity has minute independence. It is misuse of that minute independence of the conditioned soul to think that he can also enjoy like the Supreme Lord. So first, the living entities wants to enjoy independent of Krishna. So in that, because he wants to enjoy, what it is called? It is called as lust. So but when it is not satisfied, it is for sure the living entities can never enjoy independent of Krishna. So then obviously his lusty desires are bound to fail. So then when the lusty desires are not satisfied, what will come? Anger. That is the first stage, which is known as Tamishra. Even Arjuna in the 3rd chapter, he asked Krishna, actually I don't want to commit all these things. Similarly, like me, many people may be there, they don't want to commit any sin as such. But why do they commit sins? As if they are forced. as if someone is forcing them to commit those sinful activities, even though in his nature he doesn't want to commit that sins. So that's what Arjuna asked. Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anicham api varshneya baladiva niyojita. Baladiva niyojita, someone forcing him with a great force. Then what is the answer Krishna gives? Why he acts as if he is forced, even though he doesn't wish to. So Krishna says, Bhagavan uvacha kamayesha krodayesha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapna vidhi enam iha vairinaha. It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with a material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, that is krodha, anger, that is known as tamishra, the first covering, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. It is devouring. Oh, kha jayenge us vyakti ko. That anger. That's why it is said one should not try to make decisions when someone is in angry mood. So when he is in angry mood, that shows that he is not in his mental peace or equilibrium is not maintained. So first he should come out of that anger, then only think about what to do. So that this is tamishra, which is the anger. Then second covering is andha-tāmisra. So andha-tāmisra means a person thinks that death to be the ultimate end. Like many philosophies say, like Charvakya philosophy, what it says? Beg, borrow or steal, but eat ghee. Be merry. Whatever you have to do for that, whatever you have to do, whether you have to steal or beg or borrow, कर्जा लेके भी चाहिए, enjoy करना पड़े, but enjoy करो. And enjoy to what extent? To the full extent. Enjoy to the full extent. So then naturally, as per even any religion if you take, every religion says for every action there will be some reaction. You are born to get some reactions. So then when you are trying to do a lot of sense gratification by all unfair means, generally a person may feel, he may come up with a guilty feeling that, no, what I'm doing is wrong, because I may have to suffer because of my activities, because of my sense gratification. So this andha-tāmisra, in this covering, it covers the intelligence and says that, why you are worrying? After you enjoy nicely, after that nothing is there. Everything is finished. Even if you do all pious activities, charitable activities, all good activities, what is the use? After you leave this body, after you die, everything is finished. Similarly, your sinful activity will also be finished. Don't worry. Enjoy nicely. So, who will not enjoy by hearing an official statement from the Shastras like this? So this is again a meticulous work of Maya, so that she can bind the living entity and engage him in the sense gratification so that he can remain in this world perpetually. So then third stage is tamas. So Prabhupada mentions that this andha-tāmisra, that second one, is due to tamas. The second stage is actually because of tamas, which is actually ignorance. The condition of not knowing anything about the spirit soul is called tamas. So when someone, how we can believe that after this body everything is finished? In only one condition, when he is not believing about the existence of the soul. Any person who believes about the soul, who thinks that there is a force which is driving this body, so then he can never ever think that after the death everything is finished. So the tamas is the stage where a conditioned souls is made to think that no soul, nothing at all. So because of that only, conditioned souls freely, royally engages in the sense gratification without any hesitation. So Prabhupada here mentions the material world is also generally called tamas because 99% of its living entities are ignorant of their identity as soul. Almost everyone is thinking that he is this body, he has no information of the spirit soul. Guided by this misconception, one always thinks this is my body and anything in relation with this body is mine. So this is another stage where they are too much into bodily concept of life. My body. So this is called as aham. Then next stage is called mameti. That is, okay, that one is selfishness. Then another is extended selfishness. That is, like, carefully if you observe, Srimad Bhagavatam, our Prabhupada in his purports is so critical about even the nationalism. Why Krishna conscious philosophy, sometimes people, they accuse us, desh ke liye kuch nahi kar rahe, dharm ke liye kuch nahi kar rahe. That's not the ultimate goal of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because that is also selfishness, but it is extended selfishness. That's an influence of tamas, ignorance. So recently one very good gentleman had come to temple. So we were meeting him. So almost about, I think, 1.5 hours he would have spent here. In that 1.5 hours, 1 hour 25 minutes, only he spoke. Hardly I could speak for 5 minutes in between. Otherwise, he was not allowing to speak. He was continuously telling. By the way, he's a very nice man with a good heart. As a human being, he's a good heart. Doctor, a surgeon, he owns his own hospital. But his entire this thing was conversions are happening. Hindu systems, Hindus are not so active. Actually, these mutts are organizations. They are also not doing anything. So he went on to an extent to say that actually all this bhakti, all this japa, not should be stopped for next 30-40 years. First, everyone should concentrate on stopping these conversions, making the society strong. You should unite the Hindu people. He was also telling with all good intentions, because by seeing some of the scenarios happening around the globe. But that's not the ultimate motto of the Krishna consciousness movement. Why? Because we are not just interested with, as Prabhupada is saying, guided by the misconception, one always thinks this is my body and anything in relation with this body is mine. For such misguided entities, sex life is the background, and he starts thinking that my family, my nation, my community. So this is also a bodily concept of life. That's the reason why Srimad Bhagavatam, our Prabhupada, in his purports, our Prabhupada has never encouraged these so-called religious movements as such. If you really want to do any welfare, real ultimate welfare, one is called Shreya, another is called Priya. If you really want to do Priya, okay, this kind of activities someone can do. He can spend his entire wealth in stopping conversion or welfare of some particular community. But if you really want to do ultimate welfare, Shreya, that is to awaken Krishna consciousness in the heart of the person. So then he can never ever come into the trap of this Maya again. So that is the ultimate welfare. So just about 4 days back, I was in Kota. So we had gone to meet another person. So then he was very nice to us. He respectfully received. So we were discussing. Basically, we are coming up with some project in the Kota, in the new land, which is about a multi-crore project. So we are taking different inputs from different experts, because we are very, very new to this field. So then in the course of the discussion, almost towards the end, he mentioned that, Swamiji, actually, this meeting helped me a lot. In fact, before another Swamiji had come. He met me. After I met him, so many wrong conceptions I had about your organizations is cleared. I like everyone thinks ISKCON means they send money to America. More than FMCG or any big company, MNCs, like Colgate send, more than that, ISKCON sends money. So I had this conception. Then now, because he's a CA, so we gave him our balance sheets. By the moment I saw your balance sheet, I understood where you will send money. You don't have money, sufficient balance in your account now. Forget about sending money to outside. So Swamiji, that conception got cleared when I met him, your Swamiji, for the first time. So generally, how I got this conception, it's because whenever we meet in our circles, not necessarily every day, but at least in a good number of times, we have discussed about your organization. Two things. One is about you are sending money. Another is that you people make very youngsters as sadhus, babas. So somehow people cannot digest this actually. Okay, someone who is IITian, an engineer or doctor, or studied nicely, working in a good company, they leave everything and come here. Okay, somehow for Sanatan Dharma, for Dharma Prachar, he is coming, I can digest. One thing I am not able to digest. He was working in a company, again for profit, for finance and all those things are involved. After coming here also we are doing the same thing. Because we are going to discuss him about that multi-crore project. So if at all you had to do this thing only, why you came here? You would have stayed outside and done that business outside only, no? Why are you becoming a sadhu and doing that same business activity? You are coming and we are half an hour, we are discussing about balance sheet, how we can do profit, loss. So laughingly, I was thinking inside, for you to understand, it will take at least 2 to 3 years. You read Bhagavad Gita, chant nicely, then you will understand what is the value, what is the actual meaning of devotional service. So they think becoming sadhu means actually is doing nothing. They will do some meditation in the morning time, and some people will go for collection. They'll bring money, then everyone else will cook and eat and sleep. So this is what they think about sadhus. But they cannot think that, sadhus doing these multi-crore projects, building big temples, managing things. Even though our balance sheet is not in a good stage as such, but when you consider our overall turnover, yes, it's in crores. Crores will come and crores are spent. That's why there is no balance as such. But overall, if you consider the turnover, yes, it is there. So if you are concerned about turnovers and all those things, you could have stayed outside only. But actually one cannot understand, because for them, earning money means it is only for profit. They can never think that earning money can also be for pleasing Krishna. Working hard can also make a person advance in spiritual life. For them, spirituality means everyone. Recently we were discussing with another devotee. So whenever parents call, they expect us कि we are very free. कोई रिश्तेदार बीमार है, जाके मिल के आओ, उधर कुछ ये हो गया, थोड़ा उनसे मिलो, ये करो, वो करो. They cannot understand we are so busy. When we say that, I don't have time, I cannot go. तुम करते क्या है? तुम जाके इतना कर नहीं सकते क्या? So actually outsiders, they cannot think. Even in bhakti, a person can be engaged 24 hours without any free time. So these are all because of this bodily concept of life. For them, working hard means only for one. What is that? Sex life, family. Prabhupada gives that analogy of, that time when Prabhupada was talking about Bhagavatam classes about 50 years back, that time Prabhupada quotes metro cities like Kolkata and Bombay, where a person wakes up at 5 in the morning and goes to the office, takes a train 2 hours, then from there gets down, take a bus another 2 hours, reaches office by 9 o'clock, works till 6, 7, comes back to the home by 11 o'clock. This is about 50 years back Prabhupada is talking. So these days it has become a common man's lifestyle. Forget about metro cities, even in any small city if you go, you will find that. Like Kota, Dashara Mela is one of the most popular Dashara Melas. So we have set up some counters there. So devotees were telling, generally they open by evening 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock only, because people starts coming by then. And they close by 2 o'clock in the night. For us, it's like 2 o'clock early morning. So people continuously will be coming till 2 o'clock. And 80% of the mela is filled with the shops and some playthings. So people are coming up to 2 o'clock. There's a city like Kota, which is a very small city compared to any metro cities like that. Even in those kind of cities, the lifestyle of the peoples are like that. So Prabhupada is talking about why a person is working so hard just for one impetus. Hey, even there are studies made on this economic, what is the motivation force for a person to work so hard? It is the family bonding. If you don't have that family bonding, then person will not work hard. He will get some money, like many corporates, people are, especially those working in the Western countries, they work hard for 3 months. Next 9 months, they will spend that savings, and they go to some beaches, some holiday destination. They spend their life happily. They want to spend. That's how they are working hard. So the economic impetus for working hard is this family life. So that's how, why a son's face resembles father's face. The Maya creates that some kind of an attachment should be there among the family. If not, then what is the meaning of family? So through that, Maya traps living entities. There is one flower in our 12th standard science textbooks we used to read. Even now, most of you would have read that they are called as non-veg flowers. So they secrete some kind of a liquid which is sticky and which is attractive, which emanates some fragrance also. So the insects, attracted by the fragrance of that liquid, they come, they sit on that flower. The moment they sit, they cannot fly, but because it is sticky, then when a good number of insects or flies, when they come and sit, the flower closes its petals. So the insect which gets trapped inside and it dies there, and it secretes another kind of an enzymes to digest that insects, and because of the digestion of those insects, it comes up with some special seeds. Some people eat that as a very special fruits also. So this is a classical example of how Maya traps living entities. First, she creates a very beautiful entrance, and then living entities come inside. The moment they come inside, they get trapped. Unless they take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, if they don't have Supreme Lord's mercy, it's very, very difficult to come out. It's not easy to come out as such. So Bhagavad Gita, like Bhagavatam has Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita has Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, which are the 4 important verses, or we can summary of the entire Bhagavatam, we can say, entire Bhagavad Gita. So in that there are 4 shlokas. First shloka, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. So I am the source of spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So these instructions are actually those living entities, those who have sufficiently become frustrated with this material world in trying to enjoy or trying to lord it over, and after repeatedly failing, when they want to understand the real position, for them, these 4 shlokas. First, Krishna says, I am the source of everything, whether it is spiritual or material. Then next shloka, Krishna says, Machchitta madgada prana bodhayantas parasparam kathayantascha mam nitya tushtanticha ramanticha. So those who take up the devotional service, because Krishna in the previous verse he said, those who take up my devotional service, for they will be protected. So those who take up their service, what will they do? What are their activities? What are they supposed to do? The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Machchitta madgada prana. And then what do? Their consciousness is actually fixed in Krishna. And in that fixed consciousness, what do? Kathayantascha mam nityam. So their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So they take shelter of the Supreme Lord, and after taking the shelter, what they are supposed to do? They discuss about Krishna katha and relish that Krishna katha, discussing among the devotees. Next, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadhami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So those devotees, those intelligence is fixed on me, those who are discussing about me and relishing about the discussion about my topics, what will Krishna do to them? Tesham satata yuktanam. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them understanding by which they can come to me. Even though it's very, very difficult to come out of this, Krishna in another place in the 8th chapter he says, it's very, very difficult to come out of this material world. What is the verse? Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Even though it's very, very difficult to come out, but those who take shelter of me, for them it becomes very easy. That's what Krishna is saying. Those who are constantly devoted to me, serving with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So the moment you surrender unto Krishna, Krishna gives that intelligence. Just like how, for those who are not surrendered to Krishna, how Maya is deluding them. Maya is guiding them towards more and more severe materialist activity. Similarly, if surrender to Krishna, Krishna will guide you how to come out of that binding of the material world, binding of the Maya. So, the last verse among this Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Teshan evanu kampartam aham agyanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavostu gnana deepena bhashvata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So, very first, when the material world is created, Krishna is creating this darkness, web of darkness, in the form of different degree of tamas or ignorances. So then when the living entity understands that, I cannot enjoy independent of Krishna, whatever I have tried, I have failed miserably, let me think of something else. So in that condition, then again Krishna is saying, first he puts them into that ignorance, then again, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So, nashayami atma bhavosto jnana deepena bhashpata. So, aham agyanajam tamaha, the ignorance. So, how Krishna removes that? Nashayami, I remove that. Nasha means I destroy that ignorance by atma bhavosto jnana deepena bhashpata, the light of knowledge. So that's why Maya is doing her meticulous job. Just like how that terrorist has planned meticulously. But not necessary every time they will become successful. Because the government agencies are also there. They also do meticulously. They also plan meticulously to trap those terrorists. Similarly, Maya may work meticulously, but as devotees, Krishna has already given the tools, already given SOPs on how to work meticulously to come out of the effects of Maya. So just surrender unto Krishna, and then stage by stage Krishna will guide devotees. Because he's sitting as a Paramatma, that's what Krishna, I am dwelling in the hearts of everyone, and I guide them, and I destroy the ignorance. So sincerely surrender to Krishna, become strong in the process of devotional service. Actually, Maya will never be able to influence devotees, those who are strongly situated in devotional service. With this, I'll stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.